What goes on, guys? We're back here again with yet another review, and today we're going to be taking a look at probably the stupidest figure I've ever looked at on the channel. We're going to be taking a look at the Titan Tech Monsterverse Kong. Now, this is so stupid, it's awesome. Like, I'm down for any version of Kong, and this is one to get. I'm not interested in the Godzilla one, just because it's the same version of Godzilla, but this is like, I don't know. This is just wacky as fuck, and I love it. So taking a look at the back, you see what we're going to be building here, right? So wild. When somebody, I remember Toy Shiz, I think, posted it on Instagram that this was even coming out. I was like, there's no way that that's a real figure, and so happens that it is. That's what the Godzilla looks like. Doesn't look bad, just I'm not interested in it. Monsterverse, there's the barcode. I actually found mine at Target. I wasn't necessarily like hunting for it, but I looked down and there it was, 20 bucks. Got it, and now we're going to take a look at it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and pop this guy out of the packaging. So taking this Kong out of the packaging, I've never been so satisfied with such a dumb concept and a toy. Like, this is not for the collectors. This is for the kids. Like, this is definitely kid oriented. This is not like marketed toward high-end collectors. But you know what? I like both. If I'm getting a cool version of a cool character on the shelf, then I'm with it. And this definitely does that. One thing that I'll say right off the bat is there's definitely a severe lack of paint. I think if they would have went to 25 bucks and gave it like a little bit more paint, like differentiate the skin from the fur on the hands and the feet, kind of like how they did on here, maybe give a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like a little bit more paint would have went. Also, the sculpt is super soft on here, like almost unrecognizable as fur, whereas on the legs it actually looks really good, and I kind of wish the whole figure looked like that. The joints and the hinges on it for the tech part definitely show, like you can definitely like look at this Kong and go, what the fuck is going on here? But then once you find out why all these joints are there, oops, spoiler alert, you're like, okay, I can deal with that. That's pretty darn cool. So taking a look at the head sculpt here in normal Kong form, it's pretty shitty, to be completely fucking honest with you. The gums are not painted, the tongue is painted, but the eyes are painted really slop, like basically. The head is painted very basically as well, and it just looks very cheap. Same with the body. You do get a little bit of paint for the chest, a little bit of scarring on the body, which does look nice, just it's not sculpted, so it's really, really cheap looking. He does have a belly button, funny enough. And then, like I said, the sculpt on the legs and feet are really, really nice. I do like that. Just wish there was a little bit more paint. Same with on the arms. I think that it's pretty soft, but what are you going to do? I understand why. And once you have them all mech'd up, it doesn't really matter. Same on the other arm. But yeah, I mean, the sculpt isn't there in all the spots, and the paint is super limited. But for the action feature that you get with this, I'm totally okay with it. So let's go ahead and transform Kong, which is something I never thought I'd say. But cue the Transformers noise, you know what I mean? So going ahead and starting the transformation, I guess step one would be to pop out the arms and lower the back. That'll open up everything like this. Then you're going to flip out these two things on the side and flip this little doodad up there. Then you're going to push the head forward like that. You'll kind of feel it get stuck, and then spin this around like that. Then push up the back and the arms. They'll all click together, and there you go. Then on each arm at the shoulder, you'll see what you think is a bicep swivel, but it's not. It's just to extend his arms to show you that there's metal under there. Make sure those are pushed down all the way. Then you're going to go on his arms here, and both of his forearms flap open, along with the tab on his wrist, which for somebody like me who doesn't have nails is a little bit difficult. There you go. You're going to do that on both sides just to demonstrate that again, which it's kind of weird because it doesn't necessarily look like the same sculpt. So when I was opening them was, oh, they're going to have different stuff on the inside. Spoiler alert, they do not. But again, this is not made for people without nails, and I should be a little bit more careful with the knife, but what are you gonna do? So then once all those are open, you're gonna go ahead to the legs, and you'll see these two squares. Just push in on the bottom of them, they will flip open, which is really, really cool. And then on the side here, this also is supposed to hinge open, I believe. So these hinge open like that. You want to make sure that you'll hear a click on everything, so it'll lock into place so it's not flopping all over. You're going to do the same thing that you did to the forearms on the legs here. Again, no nails, but let me get my knife in here real quick. It's not hard to open, it's just, you know, I have no leverage whatsoever on this kind of thing. I'm also not a big Transformers guy, so I'm not super adequate in getting that. I was not even prying in the right spot. So there we have it. He's all mech'd up. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this version of Kong. Now this is anything like I've ever had on the shelf when it comes to King Kong. This is just wacky as fuck, and I love it. There's so many things about it that really amplify this figure for me. Regular Kong mode, do not buy it for regular Kong mode. Buy it for crazy robot Kong mode. This is super sick. So taking a look at the head sculpt here, it does look better because the eyes aren't painted. They have glasses, so it doesn't look as cheap. So I like that. He's got the shades, bro. That's pretty wild if you ask me. He's got like the power scale thing from Dragon Ball. That's pretty cool. And then you get these rocket launchers on his shoulders with a little bit like of a, what I'm assuming is like some kind of a scope on this one that hinges in and out. So if you don't want it up, it can go down, but for me, I want him to look as crazy as possible. Then the arms do hinge down and get a little bit of silver on the inside to show that he is robotic all the way to the core. Now, one of my favorite things about it is the chest. That's literally just like the Monsterverse logo, but it says Monarch. I think that's hilarious. I didn't even know it said Monarch until I like actually took a closer look. I honestly just thought it was the Monsterverse logo. I'm like, there's no way that they would just brand themselves like that, but they were pretty close to it. I thought that was pretty cool. The gold on there is really nice, and the silver is also nice. Very clean paint apps, and they even went the extra mile. Or actually, that was from the regular sculpt anyway, but it does look cool with the scar still being there. Then you get on the side and you get these flip up things with a cord in there. Would have been cool if there was like a rocket launcher in there. I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do with these, like other than just show that they flip, but you do get like robotic detail on the inside of the flaps and all that, and it's identical over here, except this hand is a fist and this is a gripping hand, which I will show what it holds in a second. But yeah, the silver's good on there on both sides. I like that a lot. And then taking a look at the legs, I love these flip johns. They are really, really cool. And you get gold paint on here, which is nice. It would have been nice to put some gold paint on the arms, but you do get it on the legs. You get it on this panel back here, on the front of the shin, or not the shin, the thigh, which looks really, really cool. I like the sculpted detail, and you get the same on the legs. I really like the gold paint in there. That's really nice. You even get on the inside on both sides, and then his feet are just sculpted regular. There's no robot parts to his feet. So, like, just standing there, he's wild looking. Man, I don't know. I don't even have words for it because this just makes no sense to me, but I fucking love it. And believe it or not, he does come with an accessory in the form of a mechanized version of his axe from Godzilla vs. Kong. This is awesome. The blue on there is a nice touch that isn't anywhere else on the figure. The gold match is really good. And the sculpt, while it is kind of a little gummy, I guess, the weapon's not that gummy itself. It just looks kind of soft. I do really like it, and it's huge. Like, it's a decent size compared to him. He does hold it pretty well. This hand is pretty hard. So what I suggest doing is kind of like wedging it through here, letting it move the hands open itself, and then pushing it through like that. It is a little bit difficult to get in his hand, but once you do, he holds it great. The shoulder is a little loose, however, so you're going to want to kind of move it around. The shoulder hinge is tight. It's just the swivel on it is really loose, unfortunately. But, you know, you can angle it the right way. Also, this side keeps popping off for the robot part. But I really like the way that it looks. I mean, I'm going to have them like this anyway. A swivel at the hand would have been really nice to, you know, just angle it a little bit better. But unfortunately, we don't get that. But it's okay. Speaking of articulation, I'm just going to go over it here. The only real articulation that you get that isn't part of the transformation is you do get a hinge and swivel at the shoulder. I wish he held it in this hand because this arm is tight. No waist swivel, no wrist swivel, no bicep swivel, which I feel like they could have, but whatever. No head articulation. You do get ball hinges at the hips that will go out that far with robot and then that far with robot. Not showing, so pretty good range either way. And then he'll kick forward, back, no thigh swivel, no knee, and then just a swivel at the feet. So nothing crazy in the articulation department, but honestly, he doesn't really need it. I just want him standing there showing off that he has robot parts for no fucking reason whatsoever. As far as scaling for this guy goes, or as far as scaling for this guy is concerned, here he is next to some Marvel Legends. So obviously these are 6-inch scale figures. I don't even know what scale this would be considered, but there he is next to Darwin and Zombie Cap. And then here he is next to the Jazzwares Fortnite Legendary Series Tomato Head and the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Dark Knight Returns Batman. And these look really nice with them too. I mean, obviously they're not going to be in scale, but what I really wanted to see him with was one of NECA's Kongs, because I have pretty much all of them thus far. And here he is next to that. And honestly, it's around the same size as a NECA Kong. He looks big, like next to these other figures, but I'm like, NECA Kong is big. So here he is next to NECA's Silly Kong, the poster version, which I do really like the size of him. So yeah, I think that is pretty good and will go with the rest of your Monsterverse figures if this is something that you're looking for. So somebody's probably out there thinking, yo, Ant, what the fuck are you thinking buying this? And I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, I have no regrets, man. This is a dumb, awesome figure. And the flaps are cool because you can kind of angle them the way that you want to make your shot look more dynamic or whatever you want to do with this. And I'm totally here for it. The paint could definitely be better. I think a wash or a dry brush or something along the fur parts of King Kong would be awesome. But the robotic parts do look nice. So as long as you leave them in this form, I think that you definitely get your money's worth in paint. And for 20 bucks, I'm really not worried about that kind of stuff. I just want a cool looking figure on the shelf. And for that, I'm not disappointed. Other than a little bit more paint, a little bit more articulation, I think a head swivel and a wrist swivel would have been really nice. I didn't expect elbows and knees, so I'm not too upset about that. A waist swivel I didn't expect neither, but I think a little bit of rotation at the head and wrists would be nice. But other than that, I think this is totally worth the price point of $20. So I'm going to go ahead and give this guy a rating of 7 out of 10. While I really do enjoy it, I can definitely acknowledge that this is not for the collectors, and this is not something that I feel like a lot of people are going to be super interested in. But I love this kind of dumb shit, especially when it has to do with Monkey. So I'm going to give it a 7. But with that, I believe that's all I got for today. So if you've not already, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do yourself that favor, and me, I really do appreciate it. Also be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I have a lot of fun over there. We all do, so I'm sure you will as well if you're not already following. But of course, I leave you with the question, and really let me know this time, guys. Am I crazy for buying this? You copping? Let me know. Let's see you guys in the next one. Peace.